Hello. If you're watching this, this means that Comic Book Opinions video was successful and has went off without a hitch. You're watching it, it's went great, and it's been fine. I think I'm gonna actually take my glasses off for a bit because they have serious glare today. I don't know if any of you remember. Most of you probably weren't even around for this because I think this was at like 120 odd followers or something like that. And I'd promised, hey, you know, I love doing these comic book opinions posts. If I ever get to, say, 200 followers, I'll make a video. And now I think something like 280 odd followers later, I haven't actually made one because I didn't really have the equipment. Like, when I promised to do that, I thought it's going to be like a year before I get 200 followers, because like I get like maybe 60 followers every year, and most of the time it goes up, it goes down and stuff like that. Like, it took me ages to get to some like 70 followers. Talked a bit too quick there. So if you're watching this went, you know, well, and I'm doing this on my brother's laptop, which is why the angle is funny, where like you can kind of see a computer desk in the background there. That's my actual PC, this is on a laptop, and it is balancing on my bed. Hopefully there won't be any sound interruptions and stuff. It is a hot day in England, the window is open. You know, dogs bark. I mean, there's like someone has like a chihuahua and someone has like a bulldog, and they really don't like each other, and it's, you know, cats fight all the time. And there's, right across from me actually, the garden right opposite me, there's a trampoline and children like to play on it, and sometimes they sound like they're being murdered. But that's children for you. Well, that's been 2 minutes without any discussion of comic books. Wow. If it seems like I'm kind of going at some points, it's because I actually have my notes open. The actual comic book opinions post has actually been written out, and I'm using it kind of like as notes, so it's, you know, it's been a while since I've done a comic book opinions post. I think we're talking like 2 months worth of comic books. If you're unfamiliar to the format I do this in a very weird order. I don't do it in alphabetical order or order of release. I do this in least anticipated to most anticipated. So we'll start, you know, not that the ones I don't look forward to aren't anticipated and I don't like them. They're kind of like my comic book bread and butter, and then there are other comics I get really excited about that I always want to watch. So yeah, so first up we've got Batgirls 32 and 33. Can you see that? The glare is very bad, isn't it? These are, I think, Gail Simon's penultimate issues. I'm not sure on that. I would have to check whether they are or not. Because I know that a new writer is taking over soon, and I'm excited for that, honestly. I like it when, you know, Gail's been doing this for a while now, and if Gail is probably going to be, like, she's dropped enough hints, guys, she's going to do Secret Six. If in, like, 3 months that doesn't actually happen, I'm going to have a massive egg on my face, but, you know, she's going to do Secret Six. I think it's a fair trade. Gail Simone on Batgirl for Gail Simone on Secret Six again. That's a pretty good trade, and it's not like these new creators are going to just, like, completely piss on what Gail's done before, you know. At least they're staying in the cast, and more LGBTQA plus characters are being added. I probably said that acronym really badly, I'm sorry. But yeah, if Batgirl were a TV series, this arc would be the season finale. You know, Gail Simone's kind of been slowly building up to this through the past kind of, like, basically since the start of this comic book series, you know, you were slowly introduced to kind of characters like Gretel and stuff like that, and and then slowly, you know, you got Nightfall got revealed, and then she kind of went into the background for a bit while other characters kind of came into the frame. Batgirl had to deal with other stuff. And now it's like, we're going to take down Nightfall once and for all. And it's like, oh yeah. It's great to have Batgirl team up with Black Canary. It's great to have Huntress show up, even if it's not Helena Bertinelli. But I agree with Gail when, you know, all Huntresses are awesome. All Huntresses are pretty awesome. You know, I like Helena Bertinelli, but I also like Helena Wayne. I did actually drop World's Finest. I stopped reading that because I didn't think the story was, the character interaction was amazing, story interaction not that good. So, you know, yeah. And I think, you know, but, you know, and now it's about Superman and Batman, another Superman and Batman book. They already had, you know, I'm not going to have a go on it. I stopped reading it. I'm not allowed to complain. That's the, you stop reading something, you just go, well, you know. I liked lots of little funny cameos, like the Zinda-esque character showing up, and I liked the kind of little jokes here and there, and I liked basically everyone coming back into the series for like another I'm distracted by my dog, I'm very sorry. For another kind of last hurrah. Everyone kind of shows up, everyone cameos, everyone kind of pops in to say hello. So I think it's so I think it's shaping up to be a very climactic finale, and I'm really looking forward to it, so that's good. X-Men 15 and X-Men 20. Finny, it's Finn, don't you dare mess up this video. You know, I'm not really this is gonna sound really crappy, but I'm not really feeling this arc that much. I'm kind of like, is it over yet? You know, comparing to like the last arc where I was like, Sisterhood of Evil, oh my god, and this is just like, you know, Dad wants his baby back, even though he's not a very nice man. It's like, yeah. I enjoyed Psylocke kind of teaching the boys how to kind of like fight and stuff. Like, I think, is it pronounced Anole? I've never heard that ever pronounced out loud before, but he was really cool, jumping from like tree to tree and stuff. I don't really know a lot about a lot of the X kids. I read Generation Hope and stuff like that, and I vaguely know about the new X-Men kids, really vaguely. But I don't know a lot about any of a lot of the younger characters in it. I don't really know much about anything. X-Men books are always like a lesson in, oh, look at this character for me, and it's always very interesting to kind of see who pops up and who I have to learn about and stuff. Beyond that, it was alright. I didn't really like the backup artist on issue 16. I was like, you know, sometimes when it's not that it was bad, it's that, you know, you had like Jubilee saying all this stuff and her face was just like, she wasn't even like, you know, like there were no expressions on the faces, and it was like, that's not very look like I've smelled poo, and but that's what bad art to me is. Poo smell. That's what bad art is to me. Black Widow 7 and 8. Yay! I've actually, in my notes, I've put 17 and 18. So, issue 17, you know, it's amazing how Phil Noto can make it look like, you know, Black Widow putting eyeliner on and Black Widow putting on, doing her hair and brushing her teeth can, you know, you just look at it for a full 5 minutes and think, wow, the details, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. You know, the cat continues to be adorable. Black Widow and Daredevil story was a bit, like, the detail on their hands was, like, really nice, and it's like, you know, they're like, you know, it's just like, oh, he's holding her hand, and then she's like, no. It's like, and it's like, Finn, stop. You know, and it's nice seeing Natasha interacting with someone other than, like, villains that she has to kill. you know, because, you know, we've had issues now where it's just been Black Widow on her own doing a thing, and that's fine. Most of the time she's been talking to that lawyer dude over the phone, and that's fine. And they've been good issues, but every now and then you want to see a character interact with another character, because that's part of what makes writing characters fun, if you get what I mean. It's, you know, part of reading comic books is how does this character interact with that character, and this character interact with that character, you know. That's the fun bit about reading comics, and I imagine part of the fun of writing them, so yeah. Issue 18, again, as I was mentioning before, Bucky! This issue 8 of Black Widow was so James Bond. It was like, there was like lots of banter and wit, and they were like shooting up people, and it was like on a train. It was really cool and really action-packed. And Natasha's flight suit looked really cool, by the way. If a little bit goofy, it was cool and goofy. It was a mixture of that's really stupid, but that also looks really awesome, and I want one. You know, there's the whole mind wipe thing with Bucky Tasha that like makes me really sad, because I do actually really like them as a couple, because I think they work really well together. Because like, you know, they have things like murdering people you know, murdering bad guys in common, and being like awesome spies in common, you know, and that's really cool. And I like that, and I like, you know, but the whole mind wipe thing is really sad. It's like, and Bucky wants to tell her so bad that he loves her, and stuff like that, but it's just not the time and the place, and it's really sad, and it's heartbreaking, really. It's Finn, stop it, you're not going to get a pet. They can't even see you. You know that, I bet they oh yes, he's in the camera. Yeah. Oh no, don't do that. Get down. Goodbye. We've got Captain Marvel issues 4 and 5. So I'm in love with Jackie, you know. So I'm in love with Jackie, the girl with like tentacle hair. Like, that is, like, if I saw Jackie in a BioWare game or any other hot alien romance games, you know, whatever, I'd be like, how do I romance you? And I must romance her, you know. Like, she is so cool looking, and she's a mechanic, and her and Carol were flirting like crazy, and it was like, oh my god, that's insane. And they were like Warlord and Goddess, and I was like, oh my god, that's so great. But, you know, Kelly Sue DeConnick does have this real knack for introducing characters and making you like them, and it's one of those things that is really awesome about Captain Marvel. Is like, Kelly Sue DeConnick is a way of just making you instantly like a character and making you want to see those characters do cool stuff and hang out with all your faves and stuff, and it's very I like that about Captain Marvel a lot, and you know, I like it about other things Kelly Sue DeConnick has written as well. I also joke that Carol is Marvel's answer to Commander Shepard sometimes, and, you know, she totally is, and I absolutely love this current arc in Captain Marvel, because I love kind of space opera and stuff like that. It doesn't work for every story, obviously, but Captain Marvel is one where I'm really excited to see where it's working, and it's you know, I do like space opera stories, because, you know, they're always really interesting, because you get to see loads of really cool aliens and meet loads of really cool characters, and you get to like see all these like civilizations and stuff like that. It's just like, oh my god, that's so awesome. I'm gonna put my glasses on for a bit, because I need to read some stuff. The notes say, Nocturna, you messed up, which brings me on to Batwoman 32 and Batwoman 33. You know, yeah, Nocturna, you messed up, and that goes for your stepson as well. Stop it. Killshot talks and acts like a douchebag, and he dresses like a douchebag too. And at least 3 other characters should probably sue Killshot for copyright infringement. I'm thinking mostly Deadshot and Prometheus in first in line. And I would totally read that comic. I think, you know, Two-Face could be judge. I would read that comic. That would be a funny comic. Bad guys suing other bad guys for copyright infringement. You'd read that, come on. It's like, hey, you can't wear that. That looks suspiciously like my outfit. I'm suing. That would be funny. I'm not all about this Sophie bullshit. I feel like having Batwoman was still on Marvel. I'm still thinking about that space opera. That's how good it was. You know, I'm not all about Captain Marvel being all like, I think I might like another woman, and I'm trying to, like, I think it was some, like, Fury said that, you know, if she had, you know, if, like, the deal that she's making to Maggie's husband is that they're going to break up, then that's just totally shit. It's so out of character. And I agree. You know, I don't want them to have a contrived way of breaking up and stuff like that, and I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm going to go date Sophie now, so, you know, at least she's my backup. I just think, like, it just feels like a really cheap way to get Maggie and her to break up, and I'm not all about that. I don't like that. I've been invested in this couple for like 33 issues now. You know? Like, I'm not all about you coming into my comics, breaking up my couples, and, you know, just, you know, stop it, right? Also, why does Kate act like Nocturna being a vampire is the most ridiculous thing in the world? Can I just talk about this for a minute? You fought Medusa. You teamed up with Wonder Woman and she showed you some really weird shit. You've literally fought a ghost before. And a werewolf. Like, is vampire really that weird of a thing? Regardless of, like, mythical monsters and stuff like that, you live in Gotham. Gotham is one of, like, the weirdest places in the world. Gotham is, like... There's a guy who uses, like, fear toxin to, like, make people hallucinate about their worst fears. There's, like, a crazy clown that regularly murders people. You know. Also, by the way, another character who needs to be sued is, what is his name? What stupid name did they give him? Night Thief, right? I mean, I'm being a bit mean. I think he looks really cool, but, you know, Dick Grayson, Cheshire, and Lady Shiva probably all need to sue him as well, because that is a major copyright infringement. I mean, he's like, I'm gonna try, you know, because I'm not getting over this. I guess I'm not getting over this, you know. I'm not getting over it. Where is he? Right, there's a good picture of him here in the bottom panel there. Total, like, we need to take the villains of all recent villains need to go on like some kind of creativity and imaginativity, like superhero identity, like. I mean, there's got to, you know, there's got to be things like that in this universe. I mean, there's so many superheroes and supervillains. There's got to be somebody who runs, like, seminars on how to create your alter ego, right? But yeah. But I am being mean. I do actually think Night Thief looks pretty cool. Now, if you could stop it with the weird incest stuff, that would be great. You know. I don't know, Mark Andrew. I'm not really liking these characters as much as I was liking Wolf Spider. Wolf Spider was utterly charming and devastating, and probably woke up Solomon Grundy. Like, don't put those things in. What are you doing, Ethan? What are you doing? Ghost Rider! Ghost Rider! We love Ghost Rider here. Ghost Rider's great. Man. Yeah, I love the art in Ghost Rider. I always come back to the art in Ghost Rider, but it is one of the things I like about it is the artwork. You know, but why did you shave your hair off, Robbie? Come on. He looked really, you know, but he's still absolutely adorable. Like, the thing with Treadmore's artwork is that it's, like, really hardcore and badass. But, like, Robbie still looks absolutely adorable. Like, I think he's blushing in one panel, and it's like, he's just, like, Robbie Reyes is just made of sunshines and kittens. There were some interesting literary themes going on, because, you know, what with the whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde parallels, not only with the crazy doctor who's making those drugs, but there's that stuff with Robbie and the Ghost Rider as well. Like, that's like a legitimately interesting thing, and I'm really interested to see where this is going. This video is going on forever. So yeah, Ghost Rider's great. And not really a lot to say about Ghost Rider, because it continues to be good. Go pick it up if you want interesting artwork. So, Ms. Marvel 4 and 5. We're going to talk about 6 in a minute. 4 and 5. I love Ms. Marvel. If you're not reading Ms. Marvel, you need to go get your priorities sorted right now, because it is one of the best comics ever. The bad guy is a bird and a clone of Thomas Edison that went wrong, and he's a he's a bird. You know, I wanted to wear I have a shirt with a bird on it, like a cockatrice, and cockatoo, that's the bird I'm thinking of. A cockatrice is a mythological animal. And I was like, oh, I should have worn that shirt to this. Now, I'm just realising now, but it was a really gross hot day yesterday, so that's why that didn't happen. But yeah, this is one of the best origin stories I've read ever. Bruno being Camilla's secret keeper is really cool as well, and him, like, making her outfit with, like, the super snot was really cool, and him being like, I will keep your secret and we will do this superhero stuff together. And, you know, the superpower training montage with, like, her, like, really long legs, and he was like, well, you know, you weren't any faster, you just took bigger strides. You know, and Camilla's family have me laughing, and they have me crying in the same issue. Like, her dad was like, you know, why we call you Camilla? It's because, I mean, you know, and I was like, oh, don't make me cry, Mr. Khan. And then he just, it's just the best. It's got to be one of the best superhero families. It really does channel Blue Beetle quite a bit, actually. And a lot of people point out that they'd really like Jaime and Camilla to kind of team up, and I agree. If only crossovers were a thing between the companies. I think definitely if they ever do like an amalgam thing again, they gotta do a Ms. Marvel Blue Beetle thing. Blue Marvel? Miss Beetle? Who knows, but I mean, you know, she's the perfect geek superhero, and that brings us on to Ms. Marvel 6, which was chock full of geeky references, quite frankly, and it was great. Also, by the way, I gotta say, I've really been liking these Jamie McKelvey issues, but I'll gush about Jamie McKelvey later. Because, yeah. Wolverine was great in this issue. He's really well written, really funny. She's, you know, Camilla is the nerd hero we all deserve, and I'm glad. I think if anybody hasn't been reading this book because they're racist, you know, you are a sad person, because you're probably missing one of the best written comic books at Marvel at the minute. True facts. Wow, I wrote a lot of notes on Loki, Agent of Asgard 5, but I know why, because it was a really long, complicated conversation on the subject of superheroes always turning evil. Overall, this issue was a really funny issue. I don't know if anybody caught this, but when in the flashback, when he's talking to Sigurd, the ever-glorious, in the bin, he's holding up a bottle of Heinz tomato ketchup, except it's not Heinz, it's Odin's, and that made me laugh for, like, about 5 years, and I don't know why. Like, But it was a really funny issue and I really enjoyed it. And then the end happened. And it got me thinking back to when Kieran Gillen ended Journey into Mystery. And he talked about how he could have had Kid Loki win and he could have had good save the day, and how, you know, in the end the bad guys could have lost, and how in the end the bad guys could have lost and Kid Loki could have won and he could have been victorious and he could have been the leader of his own destiny, and it could have been like, he's going to be good forever, yay! But then Kieran Gillen was like, that's not going to happen in comics though. Like, you know, if you were writing a story on your own, you could make that happen, no problem. But the problem in comic books is, if you decide to make a villain do a heel face turn, essentially, it's always complicated because, you know, if it's successful and he remains good, how long is this hero going to be good for? There are exceptions to the rule: Rogue, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and I'm sure there are a few DC characters who I'm just not thinking of right now, who were bad guys and now they're good guys, and that's kind of done. Although previous retcons always go back and make their backstories ridiculously sympathetic and take away their agency a lot of the time, and it's like, you kind of need to, because otherwise the sort of redemption thing kind of can go over a bit sad, but it's not very good. Sad. Whereas bigger villains always go back to being bad guys. They always do. It's a natural path in life. They always go back to being bad. They always go back to being, you know, like if Doctor Who was a good guy for a couple of years, he's probably not going to stay that way for very long, because they're too good as villains. So eventually a writer will come along and go, Loki's evil again. And that would suck, because that would completely underwrite what he had wrote. So that's not what Kieran Gillen did. He went, no, bad guys win. Now obviously Loki's been a bit more complicated since that. It's not been straightforward. If you've read Young Avengers, of course you know this. And now Loki, Agent of Asgard, it's about him seeking redemption. But Al Ewing, am I saying that right, Ewing? Poses the question of kind of deconstructing that kind of very meta kind of complications behind having that kind of happen. They're sort of, you know, why can't bad guys ever escape evil? Is it just fate? Are bad guys always fated to never become good? Is redemption impossible for some people? And I think this is going to be an idea that this book goes back to constantly, because if you don't know, the evil Loki wasn't past Loki, he's future Loki. He is this current Loki's future. And that's really sad, because we know how hard this Loki is trying to be good. You know, it deconstructs the idea of villains always being swayed back to evil, and it wants you to ask the question, what if you try your hardest and you still end up going evil anywhere? You know, what if evil is inescapable for some? And that's a really sad question. Like, it's a hard question. And it's very sad. Let's hope it all works out for the best, but I don't think it's going to. I would talk about Eternal Sin, but I'm really not that bothered about Eternal Sin. I was going to cover it, and then I'm not going to cover it. And that's how it works. Oh, fitty. And finally, The Wicked plus The Divine issues 1 and 2. I only actually have issue 2 on me right now, which is a lovely picture of Amaterasu. God, I hope I'm saying that right. I am here for the art. I don't know how long I survived without Jamie McKelvey interiors. For, like, how long has it been since Young Avengers ended? Too long since Young Avengers ended. I'm here for the concept. I love the whole gods being good thing, and I'm all about that, and it's awesome. I'm all for Lucifer. Like, God Her eyeshadow, her hair, her whole demeanour, her dialogue, it's amazing. She is probably one of the best depictions of Satan. Like, maybe I'm shooting my trumpet too up. Shooting my trumpet? How does that phrase go? Tooting my horn too early. But, she's gotta be one of my favourite depictions of Satan ever. The only one I like better than her is probably Tilda Swinton from the Constantine movies. Though, also, I can't remember what it was. I think it was called Reaper or something. And it had that guy who looked like that guy from Megas XLR in it, and he was like the best friend of it. And it had that girl from Rookie Blue in it, and Robin's dad from How I Met Your Mother was Satan, and he's one of the best Satans ever also. Yeah, I like a good depiction of Lucifer. I like the I like a good depiction of the Lightbringer. I'm always happy to see that. You know, I'm here for Baphomet, rock hard abs, his, like, him at the end, like, I'm the new god of the underground, and it's like, oh my god, he chopped off the Morrigan's head. I really hope the Morrigan isn't dead, because, like, she got built up to be, like, really cool. And I kind of want to see more of her, because she's one of my favourite goddesses ever. I'm also really interested in the recurrences previous to history. Kieran Gillen has hinted at them being Renaissance recurrence gods, and I was like, that sounds so cool. And he's also promised that we see the 19th century ones. I'm like, oh my god. And I really like the ones from the 20s as well. The ones that we saw. This is shaping up to be a really good series. I'm gonna really enjoy this. Laura's also, I think, a really good protagonist because she's quite weird and unusual in the sense that, you know, I'm going to fail my A-levels. That's not a cry for help. That's a statement of intent. And I'm like, wow. I also like the fact that she's got dip-dyed hair. I think, like, Jamie McKelvey's really good at observing modern fashion trends and putting them into comic books. Like, there aren't many comic books out there, not comic book artists anywhere, there aren't many artists out there who are able to kind of look at what women are wearing and then actually put those women in comics. Like, we you know, like, it was, you know, remember, like, when everyone was always wearing, like, a crop top and, like, the ridiculously short shorts? Which is actually in fashion now, but, but regardless, it's like, that wasn't fashion in the 80s and 90s, you know, like, maybe for some women, but it was like, that's not what women generally wear. And all women wore that, regardless of what their personalities were like. Comics. Whereas this one's like, I mean, you know, you've got Laura in a big puffy jacket and stuff, and looks very normal looking, and leggings and a big jumper, you know, and it's good to see kind of modern fashion being reflected in women. And also, obviously, you know, any character with dip-dyed hair like me is instantly a favourite, so yeah. So it's always nice to see, you know, and as well, you don't see many mixed race characters in comics, especially mixed race British characters, because I think, well, I mean, Jamie McKelvey is Scottish and Kieran Gillen's, like, English, so they, of course, they know that mixed race British people exist, but, you know, if this was written by American authors and it was set in England, I'd be like, no, but, you know, when it's been written by British, or when it's, you know, by a British team, it's like jokes about the Daily Mail, jokes about like blatant Newsnight jokes, like cigarette brands and stuff like that. Holloway, I've never seen Holloway ever referenced in a comic ever. That's the, you know, and I like that kind of stuff. I like, yeah. So yeah, I'm loving this comic so far, and the artwork's amazing, and yeah, I like how each of the gods are kind of vaguely based off pop stars. Like, you've got Amaterasu, who's like really hardcore Florence and the Machine, like through and through, like the big hair and the big long flowing dresses and stuff like that. She does the romantic look perfectly, Florence, and yeah, it's always nice to see that. And Lucifer is just David Bowie through and through, like a little bit David Bowie, touching on Janelle Monáe, I suppose, with the whole like suits and stuff like that, but mainly David Bowie. She's David. Lucifer's David Bowie. Satan is David Bowie. David Bowie is Satan. Although actually, and you know, I'm not going to get too much down the Catholic demonology route here, because technically Lucifer and Satan aren't the same thing. Satan's like a different demon, and Lucifer's like the light bringer, fallen angel. Satan is like rage and wrath and stuff, whereas Lucifer would be pride, I think, anyway. So, at 36 minutes now, I think maybe we should call this video for today. So, yeah. Hopefully next month we'll have another video, and hopefully it won't be as long as this one. This one was very long. We'll say that this was a bumper edition of Comic Opinions. Thank you for your time if you've really stuck through with it and watched all of it, because this is a long video. This is going to be a long video. And hopefully you haven't been too weirded out by seeing what I look like and hearing my voice, which it's just occurred to me this is probably the first time for a lot of you. Okay. Bye!